CIA involvement in cocaine trafficking to residents of this California district, represented by Democrat Juanita Millender McDonald.
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Thank you so much for adjusting your schedules to be here this afternoon, and we welcome you to the 37th Congressional District's People's Town Hall meeting. I would like to ask you to stand as I ask Dr. William S. Epps, the pastor of Second Baptist Church, my church, to come and give the invocation.
Let us pray. Lord, we pause to acknowledge and recognize that there is a source for every good and perfect gift and a giver of every life. So we pause to reflect and remember that you are the giver of every good and perfect gift, and you're the source of our lives. We've been admonished in your word that if we acknowledge you in all that we do, we have the assurance that you will direct our path. We've gathered here as a community concerned about the crises which confronts us all. And we have brought someone here to help us address an issue that's dear to all of our hearts. We pray that we would have open minds and open hearts as we probe the depths of the concerns that trouble us and cause our communities to be in disarray. We're thankful for those who had the vision and the foresight to pull us together and to bring the necessary parties here so that we could, like intelligent people, sit down and resolve our differences and bring a resolution to the rift that exists in government and people. Go with us now, sustain us, and keep us by your power divine. In Jesus' name we pray this prayer and for his sake. Amen.
I am Juanita Millender McDonald, the representative of this area in Congress. This is a town hall meeting unlike ever held before. For this town hall meeting allows the South Central community to interact solely with the Director of Central Intelligence, an unprecedented moment in time. But then the turn of events over the last 3 months have also been unprecedented. For the last 3 months, this community and this nation has been reeling from one of the most devastating revolutions to come before us. However, some community members living here will tell you that this startling news was not shocking, while others will admit it caused havoc. I cannot adequately express the anger and disgust with which these news reports from the San Jose Mercury News have been received by my constituents. There is no doubt that all Americans, regardless of their age, race, or economic status, who have been affected by crack cocaine would agree with my constituents that we need to uncover the truth behind these reports if the federal government and those of us who are representatives are to continue to hold the trust of the people. We must be vigilant about our demands for a comprehensive investigation, no matter where the trail may lead. There is no single city or congressional district in this nation that has been spared the ravages caused by crack cocaine. Today, we are in a community that was already crippled by the miseducation of our children, a lack of job training, and double-digit unemployment figures that made survival difficult at best. Then on August 18th through 20th came the shocking news reporters' paper that the U.S. government, and more specifically the CIA, may have been involved in almost a decade of introducing, financing, and distributing drugs among the communities of Watts, Compton, and all of South Central, and that the profits from these operations went to fund covert operations in Nicaragua. The mere idea that our government could have in any way been involved in the distribution of this horrendous drug throughout our community is repulsive. Since this news broke, I have tried to keep my community informed as developments have been available. While there is much we still do not know, we do know that lives have been lost, families destroyed, and babies continue to be born at Martin Luther King Hospital, not certain if they will ever have a normal life. In running for this seat, I made a commitment to use this office to restore hope and opportunity to those who have given up, and to use my power and influence to empower my constituents to ask questions, obtain answers, and work together to find solutions. I conceived of this town hall meeting soon after my colleagues in the Congressional Black Caucus and I sat with the Director of Central Intelligence in September. I felt that it was important that my constituents and the broader community have an opportunity to hear the Director and what he has to say about these allegations. I further wanted him to have the opportunity to respond to your questions, feel the depth of your concerns, and understand the need for a thorough and comprehensive investigation into these allegations. I am committed to seeing that this happen. We live in an information age, and information is power. Without it, we are powerless. With it and its effective application, our potential is unlimited. Thus, town hall meetings like this one will provide knowledge and leadership so that events such as drug trafficking will not happen in the future in our community. I hope you will engage the Director in a respectful exchange of views. Use the time wisely by posing concise, thoughtful, and provocative questions. Lastly, let me say that these are challenging times, and I am charged with the challenge of bringing my community back. I, in turn, challenge each of you to help me as we turn the corner on this issue and begin to rejuvenate our community. As I outlined in my congressional hearing, I plan to bring job training and jobs to our community, to increase child care for our teen mothers to help them gain jobs and self-esteem, to counsel those who have befallen to drugs and gang violence, to give special medical attention to our babies who have been affected by the drug use of their mothers, to address the disparity in drug sentencing, and to build an enormous base of support for each of us in our community. I have sought the assistance of federal officials, such as the drug czar, upon whom I have called to convene a community-based task force in which select members of the community can try to address the pressing issues caused by crack cocaine and this crisis, and to get firsthand information on the investigations as they unfold. I ask that we all keep an open mind until all of the investigations are completed and the evidence is in, as we are all aware that the integrity of our justice system is at stake. Also, it is not up to us to prove the CIA was involved in drug trafficking in South Central Los Angeles, whether, or rather, it is up to them to prove that they were not. Thank you. I would like to now ask my colleagues who have been with me through these two congressional inquiries and town hall meeting to come and extend greetings and say a few words. First, the senior member on the Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence, Congressman Julian Dixon.
Thank you very much, Congresswoman McDonald. I have very few remarks to make today because I think the opportunity is for us to dialogue with the director here. But Mr. Director, I would like to thank you for coming to the community to hear firsthand from constituents from all over Southern California as their concerns about the activities of the CIA. I think it goes without question that drugs, particularly in the minority community, have been devastating. But the question is whether the United States government has been involved in any direct or indirect way. You certainly know that some of the activities of the CIA of the past, for which you were not responsible nor in the agency at the time, you must bear the burden of the chore of overcoming those past bad deeds. And so I congratulate you for having the courage to come, but most important, I think you should address the citizens here as to what your intentions are as it relates to an independent investigation. Thank you, Juanita, for inviting Congresswoman Harman and myself, and we look forward to working with you. And secondly, no matter what the Justice Department finds or what the independent Inspector General of the CIA, I think it is the responsibility of Congress collectively and the House Intelligence Committee singularly to come forth with an open report that all of you will be able to challenge and criticize. And so I look forward to working with you in that endeavor, Juanita. And thank you once again, Director Deutch, for being here today.
And now a strong supporter and colleague of mine who also serves on the Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence, Congresswoman Jane Harman.
Jerry, can I get this? Thank you very much, Juanita, and welcome everyone. I am very pleased to join my congressional neighbor, friend, and mentor, Julian Dixon, and our rising star, your representative, Juanita Melinda McDonald, at this precedent-setting hearing. As you know, it is the second such hearing that has been convened in this district. I was proud to attend the first one as well. Let me point out how extraordinary it is to have the CIA director here. I doubt that any of John Deutch's predecessors would have come to such a meeting, but I'm not at all surprised that he is here. He is a man I've known over 20 years since our days in the Carter administration in Washington, and who means what he says and who delivers when he says he'll deliver. So I suggest to you that while there are good reasons for a bad history between this community and the CIA, there are good reasons to place your trust in the members of Congress who are here, whom you know well, and in this CIA director, who has a long history of concern about the inner cities as a member, as a trustee of the Urban League, and also as a member of the Massachusetts Governor's Economic Development Council, and who has a long history of doing precedent-setting things and delivering when he says he'll deliver. So I'm honored to be here. I salute Juanita for her leadership, and I salute John Deutch for his. Thank you very much.
Before we and I introduce the Director of Central Intelligence, let me just do a few housekeeping matters. There will be the 37th Congressional District staff that will be using the mics to robe the audience, randomly selecting participants with questions. Please wait until I call on you to ask your question or make a brief statement. That statement must be brief as the time is short. The director will be leaving to go overseas. Following the 37th Congressional District's town hall meeting, please remain in your seats until the director and members of Congress have left the stage. If you must leave the auditorium before we are finished, it is a possibility that you cannot return back or be readmitted. Finally, Ted Koppel of ABC Nightline will be moderating a segment of this show after a brief intermission. You are welcome to remain for this additional opportunity to share your views to a national televised audience. And so we do ask that you do remain seated, though, until the director has left. It is without a doubt, this is unprecedented. When I called the director of Central Intelligence, I just knew from talking with him that he would try to make every effort to come and to hear you and to listen to you and to try to answer your questions. I am very pleased that he accepted to come. I am with Jane Harmon that perhaps others would not have come. He chose to come. The Director of Central Intelligence was sworn in as Director of Central Intelligence on the 10th of May, 1995, 18 months ago, following a unanimous vote in the Senate. In this position, he heads the intelligence community, all foreign intelligence agencies, and the United States, and directs the Central Intelligence Agency. Mr. Deutch previously served as the Deputy Secretary of Defense since March 1994, and earlier served as Undersecretary of Defense for Acquisition and Technology. He graduated from Amherst College with a BA degree in History and Economics, as well as earned both a BS degree in Chemical Engineering and a PhD degree in Physical Chemistry from MIT. I cannot tell you how pleased I am to have you have the opportunity to talk to the Director of Central Intelligence. Please join me in welcoming Mr. John Deutch. Oftentimes, I have been in audiences where I did not like the speaker, but the one thing I did do was give him or her respect. This has been a long haul. Wait just a minute. 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 I have not asked you anything, but I have only asked you to have respect. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Thank you. He was not there when this was going on anyway. I have asked you to please give the respect of this Congresswoman. You must recognize that we did not have to do this. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. We did not have to do this. We could have continued to allow you to not see the face of the person who is going to launch this investigation, not knowing what he's going to do, how he's going to do it. But I saw the need for him to come so that you can raise those questions. We have just gotten over a very difficult election. I have to take a red eye out tonight to Washington to start your work. Thank you very much. So please, for the sake of our community, if you don't want to give the respect, then you might want to exit at this time. Let us now receive Mr. Deutch.
Thank you, Congresswoman Millender McDonald, for holding this public meeting, for giving me the opportunity to talk with members of this community about charges that the CIA introduced crack cocaine into South Central Los Angeles in the mid-1980s. Thank you, Principal Webb, for allowing us to use this high school. I'm going to be brief. I want to make 4 points and only 4 points. First, the people of the Central Intelligence Agency and I understand the tremendous harm that drugs do to Americans, that drugs do to families and communities, and the way drugs kill babies. We understand how ravaging drugs are to this country. CIA employees and I share your anger at the injustice and lack of compassion that drug victims encounter. Second point I want to make to you is the following. The CIA is fighting to stop drug lords from bringing drugs into the country. For example, in the mid-'80s, at the same time the allegations that are being made here about the CIA bringing drugs into Los Angeles, the CIA was helping bring down the drug lords in the Medellin cocaine cartel in Colombia. During the past 2 years, while I have been Director of Central Intelligence, our case officers, intelligence operations, have directly worked to capture all of the Cali cartel drug lords. We have seriously disrupted the movement of cocoa paste between the growing areas of Peru and Bolivia to the cocaine processing facilities in Colombia. And we have seized huge amounts of heroin grown in the poppy fields of Southwest Asia. Our purpose is to stop drugs from coming into the United States. So my second point to you is that the CIA is fighting against drugs. Now, our activities are secret, and accordingly, there is not a lot of public understanding of what we do. I understand that people are suspicious of the CIA. In the course of recruiting agents to penetrate drug cartels, to break up those groups that bring drugs to the United States, our case officers, our men and women, deal with bad people, very bad people, sometimes at great risk to their lives. These are criminals with which we must deal if we are going to stop drugs from coming into the country. They frequently lie about their relationships with us for their own purposes. So it is hard for the members of the public to know what's true and what is not true. Now, we all know that the U.S. government and the CIA supported the Contras in their efforts to overthrow the Sandinista government in Nicaragua in the middle '80s. Now, it is alleged that the CIA also helped the Contras raise money for arms by introducing crack cocaine into California. It is an appalling charge. It is an appalling charge that goes to the heart of this country. It is a charge that cannot go unanswered. It says that the CIA, an agency of the United States government, founded to protect Americans, helped introduce drugs and poison into our children and helped kill their future. No one who heads a government agency, not myself or anyone else, can let such an allegation stand. I will get to the bottom of it, and I will let you know the results of what I found. I have ordered an independent investigation of these charges, and the third point I want to make to you is to explain the nature of the investigation. I have asked the CIA Inspector General to undertake a full investigation. He is the right official to do so for the following reasons. First, the Inspector General is established by law of Congress, to be independent, to carry out activities to look for fraud and crime within the CIA. Secondly, the Inspector General has access to all CIA records and documents, no matter how secret. Third, the Inspector General has the authority to interview the right people. Fourth, he is able to cooperate with other government departments, for example, the Department of Justice, the DEA, the Department of Defense, all of which had operations ongoing in Nicaragua at the time. And finally, the Inspector General has a good track record of being a whistleblower on past misdeeds in the CIA. For example, just last month, he uncovered CIA employees were misusing credit cards, and they are now in jail. In carrying out this investigation, I've asked the Inspector General to consult with several groups. The House and Senate Intelligence Committee, 2 members of the House Intelligence Committee, Congressman Harman and Congressman Dixon, are here today, the Congressional Black Caucus and others, to build public confidence that this inquiry is fair and thorough. Your elected representatives will be kept informed. Most importantly, when this investigation is complete, I intend to make the results public so that any person can judge the adequacy of the investigation. This investigation report of the Inspector General will be reviewed by myself, both intelligence committees of the House and Senate, the President's Intelligence Oversight Board. Anyone in the public who has a wish to look at the report will be able to do so. And throughout this period of time, we will be cooperating with the ongoing investigations that are underway in the House and in the Senate. I want to stress that I am not the only person in the CIA who wants a complete and independent investigation of these charges. Our employees do not want any Americans to believe that the CIA was responsible for this kind of disgusting charge. Finally, I want to say to you that as of today, we have no evidence of a conspiracy by the CIA to engage in encouraging drug traffickers in Nicaragua or elsewhere in Latin America during this or any other period. However, I am going to wait and see what the results are of this Inspector General's investigation. Let me once again thank you for the courtesy of listening to me. My message is simple. The men and women of the CIA must obey the law, and we are committed to protecting American families from the drug lords that poison our children. CIA fights drugs. CIA does not encourage drugs. The independent Inspector General investigation that is underway will be thorough, and the results will be made public. And finally, if any wrongdoing is discovered, we will pursue it, and those responsible will be brought to justice. Thank you for your courtesy in listening to me, and I look forward to hearing your questions. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much, Director Deutch. The lady in the black and white sweater was the first hand that I saw to go up. And then I will do the roving as I have seen others. I will, if you will just be seated and raise your hands, then we will see you. Thank you.
Sir, I'd like to know...
Wait a minute. No, well, there's many black and whites. I'm sorry. This lady here. Okay, fine. And then this one next.
Sir, I'd like to know how this incident differs from my school, what happened at my school at Tuskegee University, where for 20 years the government denied inflicting syphilis among African-American men until they died, and then they agreed that, yes, they had something to do with it. So for 20 years, we were told the same thing, and these were able-bodied men who had families, that the government injected syphilis into them as a test to see what happened, and they denied this for 20 years. So I want to know how this differs. And I'm just deeply touched by this because I attended Tuskegee, and it affected a lot of that community, and it brought them down. So I want to know from you how what you're saying now differs when the government said that for 20 years till the men were dead, because we're alive now.
Let me ask you to state your name and perhaps...
No, I'm not going to do that because I don't want to automatically get an audit.
You know what? I respect your right, and you're right. But let us all respect each other's rights. Would you like to answer that, sir?
I'd like to say two things. First of all, 20 years ago, those horrors took place, and I share the revulsion about them. I hate it as much as you hate it. But let me say something else. There was nobody who came forward 20 years ago and said they were going to investigate it.
Just a minute, please. Now, the lady in the black and white there.
My name is Ms. What I would like to know, since South Central LA is destroyed, literally destroyed, the people are walking around with cars, after cars, after cars. How can we prepare? What can we do to make our city better? That's right.
The one thing that we can do, may I please answer you? I am charged to bring this community back. It will take you and I to do that. We must first, wait a minute, we must first seek funding from the federal government to help us restore this community. We must charge them with the restoration of the community and the renewal of the family. That is what we must begin to do.
Well, what we need is a solution today. We need to talk about what we want. We need a solution. And that, nobody has spoken about a solution. We need jobs. Look around. You got all these...
Wait just a minute. Wait just a minute. We cannot all speak together, please. Let me say this. The minute this story broke, I first sent the letters, the appropriate letters, to all of the agencies demanding the investigation. But then after that, having been in the seat just 5 months, I began to develop a plan. The plan is what you're talking about. Because we cannot wait on an investigation to restore our community. We must begin to restore the community right now. And that's what I'm talking about. The gentleman there in the back, that's by you, sir. And then next will be you, sir.
Mr. Deutch, could you please define for us the difference between an operative and an asset? And do you have any of these individuals working in the press corps domestically? And can you please tell us, do you know who Walter Pincus is?
I don't know that I can give you a difference between operative and asset. I don't know what you're referring to. We have a policy.
Wait a minute. Only ask the question because we're trying to get as many people as possible, so let him answer that, please.
You might want to clarify what
Wait a minute. If he said, that's fine. Please, please. I am conducting this meeting. I recognize that he wants to clarify. Please, sir, clarify.
Is there a difference between a CIA paid operative and a CIA paid asset?
No.
Do you know who Walter Pincus is?
I believe he's a reporter for the Washington Post.
Sir, you're not entitled to but one.
Is he an asset of the CIA?
No.
He said no to that question. The gentleman in the white and then the gentleman in the tan hat over here.
My question is to you, Juanita, and that is the following. What is going to happen next? Are we going to be at First Day of Me Church with Julio Butler chairing the meeting? Is that what's going to happen next, Juanita? This man coming into this community at this time, as far as we are concerned, most of us in this audience, is a mandate to close the investigation and to prepare us for him to say 6 months down the line that the CIA didn't do anything. How, and my God, who did you, in your constituency, Juanita, did you consult with to bring this man into our community at this time? What is going to happen next? Anything that happens next is terribly anticlimactic, and you know it. My other question is, does Maxine Waters endorse this meeting? Because I want to tell you right now, I'm a KJLH listening family. I've been supporting everything you've done up until today. I can't understand why you would bring this man into this community and why you would bring him. My name is Matthew Dillon.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Maxie. I represent 600,000 people. I can't attempt to ask everyone what my next step should be. I did ask some of my constituents, and I think there are some constituents here who appreciate this director coming to this community. Ma'am, if you will just allow...
Excuse me, sister, excuse me. Yeah, I want to know if you think that black folks are just tipping over the Colombian and lowriders, talking about give me 100 keys. You know, all this is, you know, you sit up here drinking your coffee, your son probably go to Duke, you know, and y'all killing babies, bro, with that bullshit. You know, you sit up there talking about y'all finna do some investigation. You know, white folks sailed across the Pacific Ocean in 1866 with millions of slaves, raping, torture, kidnap. This is some bullshit, buddy.
Let me just say this. While I do know your anger and your outrage, please refrain from using words such as what you've used. Fine. The next person will be Joe Walker down here, the lady next to him, and then the lady in the black and white.
Yes. It's a lot of coincidences in this investigation, this CIA deal. I'm talking in the mic.
Are the mics on so that the audience can hear, please? Speak louder and speak into the mic.
Okay. What I said is there's a lot of coincidences, and I've read things in the paper prior to this article coming out and afterwards. But have y'all looked into why, by the time that the cocaine and the drug smuggling came over here, Reagan eliminated most of the air traffic controllers, okay, and put Bush over the CIA and the other things there? Why is that now the drugs is coming in, and we figure that the CIA helped by allowing them to bring cocaine over here, free transportation, when they take the things over, when they took supplies over to the country, they brought drugs back over without going through radar or the inspection. But we are stopping at the CIA, but it looks like Reagan and Bush had something to do with it by messing with the air traffic controllers and allowing this to happen.
Please try to make your questions as brief as possible so that we can get to the people. Director?
The purpose of the investigation that I described to you was exactly to find out whether CIA officers allowed that kind of trafficking to take place knowingly or conspired to do so. That is the purpose of the investigation. If we find anybody who did it, we will bring him to justice.
The lady, wait, hold it. And yet the question was raised to me, why did I bring him here? Had I not brought him here, the questions and all of the people who hands are up would have been denied our questions. So please allow us to proceed with this question and answer. make your questions very brief. The lady in the gray.
Thank you so much for being here, because we've needed this. The drugs have been coming in this country, and they have been sanctioned by our government, because when you talk to those basket pushers that are black and white Americans who have served the United States of America, they were drug-induced back then. They passed it on to their families. In Baldwin Village, where I live, there are no jobs for the children, and our kids are commodities. They're being cycled through the prisons. They come back to the street, and they're marked and scarred for the rest of their life. That's the pain of it. I know, because I'm a mother of 3 kids at 30, 32, and 34, and I went through hell working to try to raise these children and bring them up. 2 of them have been in the military. After serving in nuclear submarines, my son came back to the street and had no way to get a job in this country that he served because he's black. And our children are being cycled. It has to stop, Mr. Deutch. And I hope that you'll help to put an end to it, because we are tired and we're hurt and we're angry. Thank you.
Understand, as I am, if nothing else, this is the beginning of a healing process. The lady in the black and white, and then the gentleman in the jean jacket, and then we're going over to this side.
Thank you very much. You said we only, I'll try to cut it down, because I do have 1,000,001 things to say, but one of the things I would be concerned about if I was the director, we've held, with the Cold War, we've held Russia at bay for 40 years at least. Don't you feel kind of strange that we can't hold a third world country at bay? That they have infiltrated South Central LA? This is a community with really no money, no power, and all of a sudden, these armed, not only drugs, but arms. I was in the police academy. All the police officers here should be upset, because all of a sudden we had little guns, like toy guns to play with, and these guys were coming out with things that you know they were having war over there. Forget the drug part. How did the guns get here? Give us some explanations. You, the president, and everybody else should be highly upset and say, how did this cancer get here? How did it happen? I've been coming here giving lectures to these kids. I left these kids today. They are a bungle of nerds. I look at them, I know their moms and dads have been on crack cocaine. They cannot even sit in their seats.
So make sure your statements are brief, or your questions, please. Mr. Director. Mr. Director. Please allow the director to respond.
You see, you're quite right. If we want to interdict drugs, stop drugs from getting to these shores, then you're going to have to rely on all the skill that we can mount in the government, whether it's from the Central Intelligence Agency or the Drug Enforcement Agency.
Russia could not even get here. Third world countries are just walking in and just doing whatever they want. Are you guys that incompetent? Then we're all in trouble.
Excuse me. Wait just a minute. Excuse me, please. The more you applaud, the more we will use up the time here. Please allow all of these folks who want their questions asked and answered, rather, please allow that to happen. Sir, in the jean jacket.
Yes. Have you looked into a John Hall, who has been named as a CIA asset, whose Costa Rican ranch was used to run cocaine and drugs on behalf of the Contras? He was indicted by the Costa Rican government with Oliver North just for this. So this man is, I believe, is a CIA asset. And have you ever heard of this person named John Hall? And will you look into this person if you haven't?
Yes, I know that John Hall was listed in Senator Kerry's Senate Foreign Relations report in 1989. He was a farmer in Costa Rica, an American farmer in Costa Rica that had an airstrip on his property that was used for drug trafficking. And yes, it will be looked into.
All right. The lady in the purple and then the gentleman.
He was not a CIA asset.
Thank you so much for Mr. CIA official for being here, but I would just like to ask you, how are we supposed to trust the CIA official to investigate themselves? I mean, we are having a problem with that because we was told about So Damn Insane. Now, we wouldn't act So Damn Insane to investigate his army to see if they was making bombs. If we did, we would be in a hell of a fix. Thank you.
The Inspector General is established by law to look independently about wrongdoing in the CIA. That is what he's established to do, to look at wrongdoing in the CIA.
Okay, the gentleman in the navy blue jacket, Steve over here, and then the gentleman in the burgundy after that.
How you doing? I'm Chico. I'm Ricky Ross, co-defendant, and you guys wrote a declaration to my judge saying it wasn't no involvement. How could you say there's no involvement if an investigation ain't over? Me and Ricky Ross is waiting to get sentenced Tuesday, and what a judge gonna say to us come Tuesday? And you wrote a letter saying there's no involvement. Now you're up here saying, hey, where else to go to? So I want to know, everybody in here, everybody in here, I don't know if it's a political reason or what, but I know me and Ricky Ross Tuesday will be getting sentenced. I don't know what the other people in here doing, but I know why I'm here. And I know what happened to me.
May I just say that the question which was asked of us by the judge was Ricky Ross ever an agent or a contract employee?
Wait just a minute, please. Let him answer the gentleman who has the mic right now.
Well, I was in court. I be in court every time there's a ruling and everything because I'm part of it. And the judge asked the prosecutor to get a written statement from you saying there wasn't no involvement. You guys wrote a letter saying there's no involvement. Then you come up here and say, it's still going on. So come Tuesday, the judge gonna tell me, oh, it was no involvement. You get 20 years, Rick get life. So what are we supposed to do?
If I could I want to just be very clear.
Please allow him to answer so that you can hear his answer. Perhaps you might have a question once his answer has been stated.
I want to be very clear. The judge asked for an affidavit from the Central Intelligence Agency whether any one of 5 individuals by name had ever had any association with the Central Intelligence Agency. Please let me finish. First of all, we answered that question. It's a public available answer. The record of that affidavit is available. Anybody wants to see it. And we found that none of the 5 named individuals had ever had any association with the Central Intelligence Agency. How come we were able to do that? I will tell you how come we were able to do that. Because we keep very close records on the people.
Just a minute. I'm going to have to ask that we dismiss those who are unwilling and unable to listen to the others who want questions answered.
Because we keep very close records of those people with which we've ever done business or who we're trying to develop into doing our assets. So in the case of the question from this judge, it was completely and thoroughly answered, and I want to stress that it was answered in the public record.
But on that declaration, it does say, on that declaration, it said, when Manessa was, and you guys knew that he was involved 20 years ago. And the declaration said he was a Nicaraguan mafia. And you guys knew he was selling drugs, but you didn't arrest him. You guys arrested him for 1 kilo and then gonna say me and Rick had 100 kilos and didn't even have no cocaine. And he get 5 years. Rick looking at life. It's my first offense, I'm looking at 20. And he's on his way out. And Blandone is out of jail, and you paid him $166,000.
Again, we're trying to get questions answered for your benefit and my benefit. I'm sorry now. I have got to represent you in Washington. I've got to know the answers if you don't know the answers. So please let us have your undivided attention. The gentleman in the burgundy jacket. Mr. Deutch, are you finished with your answer of the question that was raised?
The question that the judge put to the CIA was whether Blandone or any one of 4 other individuals were ever associated with the CIA. That question was answered. The answer is a matter of public record. It is absolutely the case that Blandone was an informant for the DEA. That is a question, though, which the DEA is answering, not a question which asks the CIA.
Let me say this, please. Let me say this. The Director of Central Intelligence has said this is a matter of public record. If you want this record, call my office, and I will see to it that you have a copy of what the gentleman is asking about.
Dr. Deutch, Hector Carrion, Impacto 2000. Gary Webb, the staff writer for the San Jose Mercury News, he published a search warrant on the internet. This warrant was issued to a special narcotics squad of the Los Angeles County Sheriffs. And it was issued to search the home of a Lassiter, a Mr. Lassiter, who was a former police officer from San Diego. When the sheriffs went to the home and went in, presented the search warrant, there's Mr. Lassiter saying, hold it. You better call CIA headquarters in Washington because they're going to clear me. You better talk to Special Agent Alexander because I'm working with him. Okay? Now, when there are court documents that say that some of the sheriffs had said that the evidence they took from that home were put in the evidence room, and that the CIA went to the evidence room and confiscated that evidence and made it disappear. The CIA took that evidence. Where is this evidence, and who is this Mr. Alexander, Special Agent Alexander of the CIA, who cleared that Mr. Lassiter, who was dealing with Mr. Blandone?
Mr. Lassiter was never associated with the Central Intelligence Agency. He did not tell the truth.
All right, the gentleman in the pink shirt, and then Cal Burke, and then this gentleman over here. Yeah, you can be next after I've gotten these people here. Please, please. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. If you wish to raise a question, I will be coming back across, and I'll get those of you. So please sit down, and then as I come back across, raise your hands. I see some of you, and I will already point you out as I come back across, please.
This question
Sir?
is for the director. My name is Clinton Bailey. I'm an attorney. I'm also a member of BAPAC. An inspector general was not adequate to investigate a suicide of a White House official. It was not adequate to investigate the White House Travel Office. Neither was the FBI. Why is this investigation adequate to be handled by an independent inspector general? Why should an independent counsel be appointed by the president to investigate these charges?
There are 2 reasons. First of all, we have a set here of allegations, none of which are specific enough to lead to a criminal referral to the Department of Justice on any particular investigation matter. Were that the case, there should be a separate investigation. Secondly, as I tried to describe, there are several reasons why the Inspector General is the right place to begin. And all I'm saying is wait till you see the Inspector General report. It's going to be made public so you can see whether it's adequate or not. But the Inspector General has access, the Inspector General has people, the Inspector General has the knowledge about how to do these investigations, the Inspector General has a good track record. Those are all reasons for starting there.
My question is, sir, the problem with investigating the White House on simple matters like the travel office was the problem of public perception. This woman asked the question before about public perception. acknowledging all these resources of the Inspector General could be used by an independent counsel in an investigation. Why don't you turn it over to an independent counsel?
Mr. Deutch, you want to answer? Do you wish to?
As I said before, the reason for not using an independent counsel is there's been no criminal complaint filed here.
Okay, fine. Just a minute. Just a minute. Cal Burton, and then the gentleman next to him, and then I will come back across. Now, you have had an opportunity to raise your question, sir.
Cal Burton from BAPAC, one of the chairpersons. I have a question, Mr. Deutch. You're a specialist.
Can you speak up, Cal,
yes,
into the mic?
You're a specialist in chemistry and has a PhD in chemistry. I'd like to ask you this question. First of all, the CIA, as been mentioned earlier, is investigating itself through the Inspector General. Back in the 70s and the 80s, Charlie Rango, a congressman out of New York, was the chairman of the Oversight Committee of Drug Enforcement as well as the CIA operations. Yet we find ourselves in dire straits here in the 90s. I am asking, and I think the community is asking today, who are the black elected officials that will be sitting on the committees and have access to any knowledge of drug sales or other illicit activities undertaken by the Contras and the CIA so that we can have specific input and so that our people, when they want to divulge some information, won't go to the CIA, they'll go to our people who will then pass it on to you. But we want to know today who from the black elected officials, is it Congressman Julian Dixon? Is it going to be our beloved Juanita McDonald? We want a specific answer.
Congressman Dixon will answer that.
Thank you, Cal, for answering the question that you know the answer to. There was a meeting prior to this one of elected and community leaders. There's no secret about that. And I think Juanita McDonald did a very good job for BAPAC and others in spelling out that she would take the lead for this community. She feels that responsibility. In spelling out that the Congressional Black Caucus has started its own investigation. I spelled out that I am a senior member of the House Intelligence Committee, and I pledge to you and the other people in that room that there would be a thorough investigation, but not only that, that we would make public disclosure of all the supporting evidence that would support our conclusion. So I thank you for asking that question for the rest of the people in the room.
Let me just follow up on what Congressman Dixon has said. In addition to his being the senior member who sits on the Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence and will be doing the independent investigation outside of the CEA Inspector General, outside of the Inspector General of the Department of Justice, the Congressional Black Caucus has appointed Congresswoman Maxine Waters as the chair, Vice Chair Juanita McDonald, to launch our own investigation with Congressman Louis Stokes heading up that investigation and going back and looking into the records. So there are more than just two agencies launching an investigation. There are numerous other investigations going on. When we get them all together, we will be able to discern who has really done an in-depth investigation and who has just really done an esoteric type of investigation. Sir, the man in the leather jacket. I will be coming back over. I'll get to you.
I am a former Los Angeles police narcotics detective, and I worked South Central Los Angeles, and I will tell you, Director Deutch, emphatically and without equivocation.
Can you speak further into the mic, sir? These mics don't seem to be...
I will tell you, Director Deutch, as a former Los Angeles police narcotics detective, that the agency has dealt drugs throughout this country for a long time.
All right, now, can you please?
I refer direct...
Wait a minute. there are others who do want to hear what's going on in this room. Will you please take your seats? I will come back to you as we roll back across to the center section.
Director Deutch, I will refer you to 3 specific agency operations known as Amadeus, Pegasus, and Watchtower. I have Watchtower documents heavily redacted by the agency. I was personally exposed to CIA operations and recruited by CIA personnel who attempted to recruit me in the late 70s to become involved in protecting agency drug operations in this country. I have been trying to get this out for 18 years, and I have the evidence. My question for you is very specific, sir. If in the course of the IG's investigations and Fred Hitz's work, you come across evidence of severely criminal activity,
Let him speak into
and
the
it's
mic.
classified, will you use that classification to hide the criminal activity, or will you tell the American people the truth?
All right, you want to hear the response first from Congressman Julian Dixon and then from the director. Wait a minute. From your, I'm sorry, sir. I will allow the director to speak first and then Congressman Julian Dixon.
If you have information about CIA illegal activity in drugs, you should immediately bring that information to wherever you want, but let me suggest 3 places. The Los Angeles Police Department,
Please. I'm sorry, others want to hear this answer. I am sorry, others want to hear this answer.
It is your choice, the Los Angeles Police Department, the Inspector General, or office of one of your Congress persons from this.
I did that 18 years ago, sir, and I got shot at for it.
Wait a minute, sir. Wait a minute. Wait a minute, sir. Sir, you have not gotten the mic yet. You are not. But wait a minute, then don't speak out of turn.
Let me say something else. If this information turns up wrongdoing, we will bring the people to justice and make them accountable.
All right, Congressman Dixon.
Thank you, sir, for coming.
Wait a minute here. I thought you did not want to be here, but now that you are here, please let us hear and listen. Thank you very much.
Sir, I want to thank you for coming. You were at the last meeting. The staff probably had the spelling of your name wrong, but we would like to talk to you. We have been looking for a couple of days for you, and we want to make sure that you contact the committee, because obviously you have some valuable information. If you want to give it to me privately, if you want to hand it to that aide where I can contact you this evening, please do it. Don't let us get away without getting a contact for you.
Thank you, sir.
Pass it up to him now so everyone can see that I got it. That would be fine.
Thank you, sir. And for the record, my...
Please keep the noise down so that we can hear and we can get answers.
For the record, my name is Mike Ruppert, R-U-P-P-E-R-T. I did bring this information out 18 years ago, and I got shot at and forced out of LAPD because of it. I've been on the record for 18 years nonstop, and I'll be happy to give you, Congressman, anything that I have.
Thank you, Mr. Ruppert.
The gentleman in the beige shirt back there in the back, you, sir, who's looking around, will you please get a mic to the gentleman in the back right away? And we're coming over.
Thank you, Congresswoman. Can you hear me?
Yes, just talk into the mic, please.
Okay, is that better? My name is James Otis. I'm currently making a documentary on the CIA, and we're interviewing 7 former agents. One was sent down to murder the head of Cuba, Fidel Castro. Another gentleman, Colonel Philip Renninger, was sent down to Guatemala to overthrow the government of Guatemala in 1954. The third agent was actually a spy on Iowa State University campus, where he spied on students, dark-skinned students, foreigners, and people from other countries. He was then sent down to Cuba to poison the food supply in Havana, poison the children of Cuba for whatever reason. So we all, I believe, already know this information, Mr. Deutch. My question to you is, if we know all of this stuff that the agency has done historically, then why certainly should we believe you today when you say, certainly this could never happen in Los Angeles when it's happened all over the world?
Mr. George?
I understand that I did not come here thinking that everybody here was going to believe me. I came here for a much simpler task. I came here to stand up on my legs and tell you what I was doing to investigate horrible allegations. All you can do is listen to what I have to say and wait and read the results. But I did not expect to come here and find everybody applauding the remarks that I made. But I want you to know I've come here and told you, unlike the other cases that you've mentioned, where there was nobody who came here and told you, there was no director of Central Intelligence who came out and told you there's going to be an investigation. That's something.
All right, please. Have you finished, Mr. George?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, fine. This gentleman here in this jacket over here. Sir, you've had your time once, I think. This one right here. Steve in the white hat. Okay, fine. Thank you. You'll be next.
Mr. Deutch, you and the DEA's former director had a conflict and he resigned. What happened to that ton of cocaine that you were supposed to be watching coming from Bogota, Colombia?
I don't know what you're referring to, sir.
There was a conflict between the DEA and the CIA, whereas you guys were watching a ton of cocaine flying out of Bogota, Colombia for a sting operation. The director of the CIA didn't agree on your tactics, and you superseded him and went over, and he resigned. The former, I don't know his name, but the former DEA director, the one that just resigned because you wouldn't give him the information on the ton of cocaine that you were supposedly watching coming from Bogota, Colombia. Whatever happened to the ton of cocaine?
I don't know the case you're referring to. I just don't know the case.
Okay, fine. The young man there, the one, that's right.
Excuse me, can I just say something?
No. You have to wait your turn, and after that, I'll come back to you. I'll come to you after this one. Sir?
Excuse me.
This young man is waiting to be heard through the mic.
Very uncomfortable. I have a question for you guys. You're talking about the South Central. You come down here with all your cameras and your meters and all these, the police department, you destroyed our neighborhood. You killed our kids, my brother, a lot of other kids. I put together a proposal for anybody that want to come and help our kids. We need a media. We need cameras right in the heart of South Central. Letting these kids know that they are loved and they got somebody that want to take care of them. Okay? We have a lot of talent here. We have a lot of hard-working people in this community that's working with these kids that's on drugs that you guys never talk to. Okay? It's time for y'all to bring the cameras back to our community and let everybody in the other part of the world know that we are all not on drugs, we are not gangbangers, we are not murderers. Give the kids that's trying to make a difference a chance. Anybody that want to challenge this, I have put together a budget and a proposal, very, very cheap, okay, for a national televised TV show. Key in on this.
Thank you. Thank you so much. If for nothing else, we have brought the cameras in for this young man to state what he just said. Well, do you want to give me that proposal, young man? Please, to my staff. All right, I'm coming back over with the young man in the stripy shirt. I told him he would be next. Then we're coming back. We're coming back as soon as I get him. I'm coming to you.
Good evening, Mr. Deutch. Could you got the mic on? Deutch. Mr. Deutch, my name is Malik Spellman. I'm formerly a news reporter for Fox Races News, first of all. Second of all, I'd like to say this. As a former street chemist, you know and I know that there's certain chemicals that's required to break down the derivatives in cocaine. Will mobile gasoline be brought up on charges for supplying these chemicals to the Nicaraguans for their access to the cocaine and breaking it down? And second of all,
how fair does this here particular story, or should I say, how does this story that you're bringing us square with the Illuminati society that we have today? And third of all, can I ask you in the name of God to please take hands off Minister Farrakhan so he can raise us up?
Any comments?
No, I don't have a comment.
All right. I think yours was more of a statement, young man, than a question. No. You were given the mic to, I thought, to raise a question. You guys are going to have to raise questions if you want answers because the time is going. What is your question, sir? Be quiet so we can hear his question.
My question is, Mr. John, you the person you are, as the traveler that you are, will you be able to stand here on the square and tell us that you wholeheartedly support the rebirth of South Central?
Yes.
Thank you. This gentleman right here in the blue shirt.
Director Deutch, I have a very simple way that you can prove to us that you intend to get to the bottom of these allegations. And that is the CIA in '81 was overrided under the Reagan administration. When President Ronald Reagan signed Executive Order 12333, he set up a parallel government headed by George Bush, for which Ali North also worked, and they privatized U.S. intelligence. For example, the gentleman that he brought up, Weakley, not Alexander, but Weakley, Scott Weakley, who was said by the government to not be involved with the government, it turns out he was involved in a private operation as part of what's called the Bush asteroids. But you have a private network run by George Bush and Ali North, not the CIA. You won't find the records in the CIA. They're not there. They're in these privatized intelligence agencies. Will you pursue that? Will you pursue Ali North and George Bush and the massive documentation? All these gentlemen, like this gentleman here, the co-defendant of Ricky Ross. Ricky Ross is doing George Bush's time.
Okay. All right, fine. I will have to tell you, because I cannot get some type of leverage here and some type of quietness here, I'm going to have to just take 4 more questions so that I can then... You are not responding to me. You are not responding to me at all. Therefore, I cannot respond to you. The gentleman in the back there, the one who has a...
I will instruct our Inspector General to investigate any allegation in this matter that is brought forward. If you bring forward an allegation to me, I will see that it's investigated. Give it to the staff
members. Okay, hey, one second, please.
Sir,
1 second, please.
That was intended for the guy in the khaki jacket, and then you are next, the one who has the mic at this time.
Can I go ahead and go? I have the mic now.
All right, fine.
Okay.
If you've agreed to that, fine.
Thank you very much. Please, quiet 1 second. First of all, I have to let everybody know in here, the only reason that we're getting this information is because we live in an information age and we're getting it through the internet. Is Gary Webb in the house? Is the first thing I want to ask. Is Gary Webb in here? Gary Webb is the reporter for the San Jose Mercury News who broke the story wide open. And my suggestion is simple. Allow Gary Webb to have full access to the Investigator General's full documentation, and as he goes through the process of investigating them, allow Gary Webb to be there along with him, to investigate along with him with his documentation, and comparatively go through it as the investigation goes on. That's it. That will solve this point blank. We won't be here yelling, and we'll have a representative of us who actually broke the story there on top of it from the beginning to the end.
Thank you.
The report will be made available to all members of the media when it's completed.
Sir, once the report has been established, you will not have a meeting behind closed doors. You will have a public meeting on that. All right, please. Yes, yes. Wait. Sir, you can. Sir, you, and then the lady who's been over here with this sweater on, she's been
This
up
is
for
what
a
I
long
want to
time.
say.
Yes.
My name is Joey Johnson. I'm a revolutionary activist against police brutality in Los Angeles. The first thing I want to say is I don't know why Dixon is saluting Deutsch's courage for coming here today when everybody knows this building's got hundreds of pigs in it. There's pigs behind those curtains. There's pigs on top of the roof. There's trained assassins. So what courage are you talking about? This whole thing is orchestrated. This whole thing is orchestrated. And then they're going to say, oh, the public got to say their mind. We know that Deutsch's first point was that he understood the terrible pain that these drugs have inflicted. They also understood the terrible pain that the Contras were inflicted on the villages in Nicaragua, where they were bombing the harbors, murdering peasants, and they used the Contras to destabilize Nicaragua, and they used the crack that they brought back on those planes to destabilize South Central and destabilize the youth here. Because ever since, and especially since the LA Rebellion in 1992, they know what these youth can do if they go in a revolutionary direction against the system. Instead of being beaten up and beaten down and brutalized by the system, you sold the drugs and you turned around and incarcerated these youth. When are the doors going to open and all the kids that were convicted on these racist crack laws, when are they going to walk out of those prisons? When is that going to happen? We're not going to get no justice here today. We're going to need a revolution to sweep all this way and really get some justice. And that day, then these things like the CIA crimes will be... Wait a minute. You cannot just hog that mic like that, sir. You're going to have to ask your question, make your statement, or whatever. Now, I gave you an opportunity to speak, and now you're yelling out. You know better than that. You know better than that. All right, just a minute. I would like to have Richie Ross's brother to speak, please. Here he is right here.
Yes, thank you.
Please get into the mic, sir.
Thank you, Senator Dart. I would like to ask you a question. On national TV, on ESPN, you made a statement to the senators that was asking you certain questions about the CIA. In return, these are the words that came out your mouth. The senator asked you, how long do you think that it would take you to do your investigation? And you replied, sir,
60 days.
60 days? How can you do an evaluation on an investigation of cocaine in 60 days, and you can't even stand here and tell these people that the United States government turned their head and let this cocaine come into the United States of America? We are sick and tired of your excuses. That's an excuse. That's a cop-out. Because if you can go over to Kuwait, if you can go over to Vietnam, and you can go all these other places and start a war, you can control this dope war.
All right, I promised the lady over here who's been standing for a long time, give her the mic over there.
All right. First of all, I have a sad commentary. All right. First of all, I have a very sad commentary to make. I lost a wonderful grandson who was perfectly innocent. I want to preface this. Perfectly innocent through drug dealing, gang wars, fighting over territory and whatnot. And my grandson was totally innocent, but he was slayed. And I'll take that pain to my grave, the pain that this kind of stuff has brought about. But mainly, I want to know, how can we know how many viable documents have been shredded, and how can we be certain that more documents won't be shredded?
I don't know that anybody has found any loss of documents in the operational files which involved the Directorate of Operations activities in Latin America during this period of time. I know of nobody who's found any gaps in any sequences, any missing files, any missing papers from any of this period of time. That may come up. If so, it will be pursued. But right now, in the written record, there's absolutely no indication that anybody's fiddled with it.
I will only take 2 more questions. It will be the lady over here in the beige blouse and the gentleman who has the white cap on. Let me ask you, is Terry Watkins in the house? All right, this young woman here and then the gentleman here.
I think it's pretty evident that the sentiment in this room is that of pain, anger, and especially that of mistrust. I must echo a lot of the statements that have been made in regards to the way that you're going to conduct this investigation. How can we feel comfortable with an investigation that's going to be conducted by someone who's on the government payroll to investigate the CIA and its wrongdoings? I think what we also need to consider is if the Congressional Black Caucus is going to conduct an investigation, at the end, which one is going to be the one that's going to be accepted by the administration? It's going to be the one that's going to be the one favoring the CIA. And I believe that what we need to do is have a joint effort as opposed to one investigation being conducted on one end and another one being conducted on another, because we're not going to have any justice prevail.
Sir, I have not. Wait a minute. You answer that. You had. Wait a minute. Wait. No. Wait a minute. You get out of here if you cannot. If you have to use that language, you leave out of this auditorium, sir. I'm not going to allow you to use this language in my community. I'm sorry. Anyone who uses that type of language does not deserve that answer. That's fine, sir. That might be fine, sir, but you have... Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I did not disrespect you for one time, and you are not going to disrespect me here today, sir. Sir, over here in the white cap.
Yes, could you turn the mic up, please? Could you turn up the mic, please, so I can, okay.
Please turn the mics up so this gentleman can get his question.
With all due disrespect, sir, Mr. Deutch, who is the head of the chemical weapons research before you got this job, is that not right? You were the head of chemical weapons research for the military? Is that not correct?
I was Deputy Secretary of Defense.
And you were in charge of chemical weapons that were used in the Gulf War, is that not correct?
That's incorrect.
Is that incorrect?
Yes.
Okay. That's incorrect, and is it also correct that the OSS, which was started by Wild Bill Donovan and Reinhard Gehlen in the 1940s, when the Nazis were brought over here in Operation Paperclip? Hey, could you let me finish, please? You see, you coming in this community today in this way is nothing more than a public relations move for the white people of this country, because you know as well as everyone else that the CIA has been dealing drugs throughout the world and bringing drugs into this country since Vietnam's war. You brought them in here in body bags. You were in the Golden Triangle. So you're going to come in this community and insult us and tell us that you're going to investigate yourself? You got to be crazy.
It is now time for me to close. Wait, no, wait a minute. No, wait a minute. Wait a minute, wait. Wait just a minute here. I'm sorry. I am sorry. Wait a minute. 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 Wait a minute.
And the CIA just told you to close the meeting. We know who you represent.
I would like to thank
He just told you.
the Director of Central Intelligence, Mr. John Deutch. You're right. You're right. I would like to thank the Director of Central Intelligence for being here today. I would like to also thank my colleagues, Congressman Julian Dixon and Congresswoman Jane Harmon.
Can I say a word, Juanita?
I would like to thank the community for being here today. I would like to thank the community for being here today. And hopefully some of you got, if not all of you, got your questions answered.
Can I say a word?
I will now have the Director of Central Intelligence to make his last remarks. You know what? I hear your cry. I hear your cry. Wait a minute. 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 I do hear your cry. I understand you are tired of crying. I've just gotten here 5 months. I will be willing to work with you and with you to... I will work with those of you who are willing to work with me. Now may I have the Director of Central Intelligence to say the last words.
Thank you. Thank you for letting me come here today. You know, I've learned something. I've learned how important it is for our government and for our agency to get on top of this problem and stop it. I just want to say that I came today to try and describe the approach that I'm taking to address these serious charges. But I go away with a better appreciation of what's on your mind, and I go away with a conviction that we're going to do more to stop drugs from coming into the United States. Thank you very much.